Hello and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland. I'm going to go and check the name of the show. Summer 2018 Transfer Deadline Day Podathon Live, part 1 of 6. This afternoon, because it is now this afternoon, with me we have Matt from Sydney in Australia. You're right, Matt?
Hello, hello.
And I should say that now that you're live, sorry for getting your name wrong so many times. It's not Sinisi.
Okay. We got there. We got there in the end.
It's Santi.
Santi.
You right?
Very good. How are you?
I'm fat and bald, and I've been awake for nearly just over an hour. What time is it there?
It is 10 p.m.
10 p.m. That's dedication, people. All right, next on our list, you might remember him from this time last year. It's Ryan Coursey in Chicago. Right, Ryan?
I'm all right, and good morning.
What time is it there?
7 a.m.
Wow. So
that's even more dedication
already. Echo. Volume 0. Fucking just got wants it on all the time because it's nonsense. Right, so you're 7 a.m. and so what's the time difference between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m.? I think that is going to be 15 hours. Look at me working the numbers. Wow, 15 hours difference. All right, well, I'm some kind of arse. Also, we have Lord Hillwood in Poland, who is only an hour ahead of us. That's not interesting, Steve, is it?
Well, it's 37 degrees out here at the moment. It feels like it's about 45. It's quite disgusting. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Probably we're going to have a thunderstorm. Let's hope it doesn't occur in the middle of the podcast.
Well, we've not had anyone come round and do the communal areas yet, and they've not been round for 6 weeks. So I expect them fuckers to turn up on their tractor any minute now because they're twats. And finally, go on.
I've got the windows up, so there's every chance that, as usual, the Warsaw Fire Brigade will make their usual appearance on a Bergkamp Wonderland.
And finally, with no time difference at all down in sunny Plymouth, it's only the Pirate.
It's not sunny. It's not sunny at all, Danny. It's no. It's a bit. Well, it's gloomy. It's gloomy. I've got football training tonight, so much like Steve, I fully expect the heavens to open just as I arrive. So yeah, happy days. But hey ho.
Your kind of luck. Right, we are going to be going for half an hour. So we'll start off with Ryan, as you've done this before. What's your thoughts on the transfer window for Arsenal so far and the news that today that Lucas Perez has actually signed for West Ham for £4 million? Unfucking believable. Go on.
So far, it's been awesome, to be honest. We've brought in some real talent. Going forward, I don't really expect anything to happen today, as usual, which is, you would think, you would think they would have changed, but I don't think anything will get done today, as the last few years, except the trolley dash year, which was what, 8 years ago now. So it's been overall, I think, an A+, except I don't really expect anything to happen today at all.
You don't think that maybe we need another striker or someone?
I definitely do.
Goals?
No, I definitely do think we need another striker / wide forward, but I don't expect it to happen today.
Okay. Matt, what's your thoughts on the window so far and the Perez news?
I thought we've done well. I think everything, I mean, it's hard to tell in central defence at the moment if that's going to be good or if that's going to be completely bad. But I mean, if you told me who we were signing at the beginning of the transfer window and who we'd have total, I'd be very happy with it. And I think we filled a lot of the areas we wanted to fill, maybe apart from like a winger. But I mean, if you look at the paper, it's just Socrates that is the red light for me. I'm just not sure how he's going to perform, but overall, I think good. I'd say B+.
Right, Kris. Should we expect anybody? Have you got your toe in the water there? Will anybody be joining us, maybe from Barcelona on loan for the season?
No, it's fairly quiet. From what I could gather, I think that there was a little bit of talk around the journalistic end of things that we were looking at a left back potentially today, and a few people probably know Leyva Kazau is being basically offered to everyone, including the Pirates at the moment, because he's shite. So that's not going to happen.
If you're going to say players' names and say who they play for.
He plays for PSG, former Monaco. Is he what, sorry?
Japanese?
No, he's French.
So why has he got a name like Kurzawa?
I don't know. I'll have to ask his mum. But yes, he's more likely to pitch up down the road at that lot, which would be quite funny because then they'd have both of PSG's crap right and left backs. But no, I think it's all quiet. There is no Dembele update if that's what people are looking for. It's no secret that we are keen. There's no secret that clubs have had a chat, but I don't think that would happen unless something monumental went on, which I don't expect to happen. And it's not. I don't know what it is, but transfer windows doesn't seem as exciting when it shuts at 5. It's always more fun when it's dark, and it's doing it in the dark. I don't know why. It just seems that way.
It is dark.
But, true. No, I don't see too much. I'm quite enjoying laughing at Man United's feeble attempts to sign players, and of course that lot down the road in their toilet bowl. That's quite funny. But no, I think it's all fairly quiet. It's more about the outgoings at the moment, isn't it? I'm sure Steve will give you a view on Lucas.
Steve, like Kris says, what's your thoughts on Lucas going? Your fans are very noisy, but on Lucas going, and the fact that we have got the likes of Jenkinson and Cohen Bramall and all these other players that really do need to be shipped out. What's going to happen?
Well, first of all, you need to look at actually the homegrown quota,
cool.
which our Josh thankfully did a summary of me for this morning.
I got a glimpse of that.
Yeah, and we've only actually got 9 homegrown players. So if we boot out Jenkinson and Cohen Bramall, it means that would leave us with 6. I think that leaves us under the limit for homegrown players. Under 21s don't count. And Jenkinson, really, to be honest, bless his heart, he's not going to leave unless we force him at a gunpoint anyway. I don't think anybody's going to sign him. I think Cohen Bramall's contract comes up for expiry maybe next year. So... it's very sort of like we've got to be very careful on the homegrown thing. I think even I'm just having a look here. Homegrowns: Bellerin, Ramsey, Holding, Iwobi, Welbeck, Jenkinson, Martinez, Bramall, and Puegazello. So if Welbeck's been told he can go, if we booted out Jenkinson and Cohen Bramall, we'd have problems. So we'd probably have to suffer them until we can recruit some more English homegrown type players or promote them from within the squad. Because Ainsley Maitland-Niles,
conservative.
He doesn't count. Him and Matteo Guendouzi, they don't count as homegrown because they're under 21. Lucas Perez. A player who under Arsene Wenger didn't really get a fair crack of the whip. I liked him. I thought he was a player who made partnerships with whoever he played with up front. He created assists. He fought hard for the team. You've got to give a special mention to a man who sprints 50 yards to get involved into a fight because someone picked on his teammate against Nottingham Forest. He was quite willing to knock the bloke out and get sent off for it until one of them stopped him. But it just wasn't to be for him at Arsenal. And, he's going to West Ham with Jack, so... maybe they can have some fun there and do some shit and fuck up Tottenham, but not against us, gentlemen, please.
Did anyone see? I don't know who the tweet was from, so apologies, I can't give you credit. But somebody tweeted a picture of Jack Wilshere and his girlfriend and Lucas Perez and said the striking resemblance between Jack Wilshere's girlfriend and Lucas Perez. It looks like Lucas in a wig. It genuinely does. If you can dig that out, I'll try and find it while I'm on. But it did make me laugh.
Okay, right. I've got a question for you, Ryan. I'm looking at where the contract expires, like Steve was talking about. Apparently, Socrates, his contract hasn't got one, according to Transfer Market. That's worrying. But Lichtsteiner, Petr Cech, Monreal, Ramsey, Welbeck, and Joel Campbell's contracts all expire this summer. Are you worried about that? You're muted. You've done a Davis. Start again. Oh. No, can't hear you. Do that thing yesterday where you went out and come back in again. That'll probably fix it. And just need Kris. Can you do some interlude music while we're waiting for Ryan to come out and come back in again? No, you don't do any of your Angry Boys.
Oh, sorry.
Nickelback nonsense. You keep that to yourself. No one's interested.
Okay. I'm trying to find this tweet for you while we're...
while we're waiting for him to come back in, let's just give a shout out to a few of the bods in the in the chat box. Swiss Gooner 88, Pat Brady, K-Man, Jake Taylor, Crappy Rubsniff, Archie, hi Archie. Who else is in there?
Sorry, can we back up? Crappy Rubsniff was that?
I was about to say the same thing.
All right, Ryan,
that's different.
you're muted at the moment, Ryan.
Winston 95, Ryan Kosh,
No, still got the muted thing up on your screen.
MJL, Winston.
He's gone full Davis, hasn't
Loki's in there. Archie's going on about Spurs can't even buy Grealish. One of the highlights of last night on Twitter was a Tottenham ITK being absolutely ruined by Grealish's brother. Arsenic Guna, hi. Stan the Man, he's in the chat box. Shane Houston, and more.
We'll let Matt answer that question. Matt, are you worried about all those players going out of contract? And Ryan, you've got a little symbol up on your screen that says you're muted. So, yeah, I know you know that, but can you write down what you want to say, Ryan, and hold it up to the screen while Matt answers your question? Go on, Matt.
What were the names again? Sorry. Welbeck.
Now we have Lichtsteiner, Petacek, Monreal, Ramsey, Welbeck, and Campbell. Their contracts all expire 30th of June next summer. Are you worried?
I mean, I'm not worried. I mean, a lot of those players, I think we were thinking about shipping out anyway. Besides, bar maybe Monreal. But I mean, it all depends who we bring in. I wouldn't find it worrying losing Campbell or a few of those players. But I think at the moment it'll just depend who we bring in. But none of them are first team, and none of them are, besides Monreal. So I think we'll be fine. Yeah.
Oh, good. Right.
Danny, if you check the Mongs group, you'll see the tweet I've just sent you.
That's our secret group.
I know
about that.
It's fine.
Okay, just looking at it now.
You can do with it what you will. There's also some excellent David Brent.
They like each other.
They do. Look at the face. They do.
No, I'm not having that. You're not. Can we get back? Wonderful Jack Wilshere in my presence. You stop your nonsense.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, but he's a UKIP member at West Ham now, Danny, so you can fuck off.
Oi, you can stop it as well. Ryan, can you speak?
Can you hear me?
Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Wow. Way to make yourself look like a moron.
No, yeah, yes, Jason Davis. Are you listening? This is what you've done. You've encouraged this behaviour.
I've gone full Davis.
The question was Lichtsteiner, Czech, Monreal, Ramsey, Welbeck, Campbell. Their contracts all expire in June 2019. Don't mute yourself ever again.
I shan't, at least on purpose.
Yeah,
I promise. The older ones, Lichtsteiner, Czech, not too worried about it. They're in the autumn of their careers already. The Ramsey one seems to be the most problematic. What's he going to do? He's an integral player in the squad. We rely on him. Could be the captain. Why hasn't he signed? That sort of thing. He could go on a free, which leaves the club in a financially perilous position, I suppose. Well, not entirely, but you could get a lot of money for him. And if he goes for free, he'll get a lot of money somewhere else. And unless we replace him, we're worse off. So I guess the only one in Monreal, he's getting close to the autumn of his career, so I'm not so worried about him. So the only one I'm really concerned about, I guess, is Ramsey.
Do you think he's because
it looks from like I think he's gone after the year. Yeah, if he hasn't signed now, they're obviously not willing to give him the money he wants, and he'll just wait it out and go somewhere else next year. But Matt, I could be wrong, of course.
Matt, have you got any thoughts on Ramsey? Do you think he's?
I was about to say I missed Ramsey on that list. That's definitely a red flag. Look, I think obviously we should do everything to keep him, but I'm kind of in the boat now where I've almost accepted that it's going to happen, and the more I think about it, the more that maybe losing his goals wouldn't be the worst thing in the world because we have Lacazette and Aubameyang, and it might just free them up a little bit more, and we can maybe bring in more defensive midfielders and kind of use that space for something else, like a bit more defensive minded, but. I don't think it's a good thing, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
Steve, you wanted to mention the defence.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about why Chambers was loaned out. Kris and I are probably the only two who think it's a good idea. As for the Ramsey thing, before we get into that, the Telegraph Wilson this morning is saying that the club are very close to an agreement with Ramsey, and he will be probably signing a contract after the transfer window. So bearing in mind that Wilson said that, I'm not so worried about it, to be honest. Right, the defence. So we've got Lichtsteiner, Bellerin, Mustafi, Socrates, Holding, Nacho, Dead Hulk, Mavropanos and the Dead Hulk. And we've loaned out Chambers. Some people seem to think that's insane. Some people, like me and Kris, think it's a good idea for the player because he needs the minutes and he needs to prove himself. People also don't seem to get the fact that in the past, the clubs have been slaughtered for not tying players down to contracts and making sure that if we have to sell them, they've got enough contract on them to be able to get any value out of them. That's what Tottenham do so well. No way you're allowed to get down to a year left in Tottenham. As soon as you start playing that bollocks, Levy ushers you out the door. So, you know, people have been signed up on deals so that if it doesn't work out and we've got to sell them, they can be sold for a good amount. Chambers, I understand, wanted minutes, and he's not going to be guaranteed to be a starter, and I don't think he's going to get as many minutes as Arsenal as he would at Fulham. So I think for him personally as a player, that's a great loan. I think the fact that he's had so many loans says a lot about him. And that's Arsenal that's done that. And also now, Emery's done that. But it does leave us a bit weak. I got the feeling possibly that we may never see Kos play for Arsenal again. I think by the time he gets fit in sometime around January, he might be ushered out the door. And that leaves you with Mustafi and Socrates and Holding. And let's not forget Nacho can play at centre-half. Mustafi needs to have a lot of training to learn to stay on his fucking feet. I think Casido will probably have to buy a cattle prod to encourage him to not do that. Socrates, though, I can't be enthusiastic about him.
Oh, don't you're on the Jason Davies and
don't even mention, because I'll just go off on one.
Do you rate as well, Kris?
I know what Steve is saying though, and to be fair, Steve's concerns are ones I share. I just think that the vitriol that's flying around social media about him being, the world's worst defender and all this is just mindless bullshit. And also just on Chambers, I've lost count. I did reply to the first few, and then I had to go and wash my hair, but people were tweeting me. I put a tweet out the other day and I said that Emery is used to working with defenders in Presnel Kimpembe and Marquinhos at PSG, as well as what was one of the best defenders in the world, Thiago Silva. Certainly isn't now, but they're very good ball playing centre halves, very composed on the ball, very pacey across the ground. Certainly in his day, Silva was anyway. Chambers is none of those, and the amount of people that I've had tweet me saying Chambers is our best ball-playing centre-back at the club. If that is the case, I'm going to watch volleyball next season, because I clearly know nothing about football. If Callum Chambers is our best footballing centre-half, I don't know what to tell you. So I don't know if I'm watching a different game to these people that have tweeted me, but I just don't see that. He's decent on the ball. I'm not saying he's terrible, but he's ponderous. He doesn't play with his head up enough. The foul that he got given against him, the West Brom penalty, which for the record was never a penalty, but his body shape was all wrong. And because of that, that's why the ball hit his hand, and that's why we got a penalty given against us harshly last year. He's a player much like Lucas Perez said today, that I think maybe his level is not Arsenal level. Maybe he is. Fulham sounds like a good fit, as did Middlesbrough. That's not to say I don't like him. I do. I do think there is a player in there, but I have reason to doubt now, as Steve quite correctly said there, this isn't just an Arsenal thing. This is now two coaches who have now sort of said, I'm not sure that maybe he's at the level we need. And I think Rob Holding's 3 years younger, so has more time to develop. So I'm not against the idea, and if he plays well for Fulham, you can't win now, because if he goes and has a blinding season for Fulham, and Socrates does have a nightmare, or anyone else for that matter, then it will be, why'd we let Chambers go? Equally, if he goes there and doesn't play, then it'll be, we shouldn't have let him out because he's English. You can't win.
Ryan, what's your thoughts on what Steve and Kris have said about the besmirching of Socrates? Is good, whose name I've just fucking butchered. Perhaps a good name that I've ruined.
So, Kris mentioned bullshit on social media, and my thought was, no, never. There's
surely not
bullshit on social media. It's all intelligent banter, right? Socrates, I thought, was a kind of a weird by. I mean, I know Emery wants to play with a high press. He didn't really do well last year, Dortmund, in a high press, but it could have just been the team was fractured and it wasn't that good to begin with last year. That's why they struggled. It's on a better setup. A bit. I'll watch them when they're on and there's nothing else to watch. And I've been somewhat of a Dortmund fan for a while.
That'll do.
So don't accuse me of some sort of weird patriotism because the best American player currently is on Dortmund.
Pulisic.
Yes. They actually pronounce Pulisic here.
They do, don't they? Yeah.
Wasn't Socrates bought before Emery got to the club?
Exactly.
I don't think he had any say in buying him.
Which is another thing that Twitter seems to have conveniently forgotten when asking me why did we buy Socrates then? Well, because it was done months ago. It was done in January, that deal. Wenger sanctioned it.
Yeah. Now, I think something else that we should address as well. If you look in the past, the things that Arsenal have been accused of in the media have been a team of Tin Henmans, a team of son-in-laws by Graham Souness. Well, I don't think you'll be accusing us of that next season with Liechtensteiner, Torreira, Socrates, and Xhaka joining in the unpleasantness. And
Guendouzi likes to tackle as well.
Guendouzi likes to tackle. So the idea that Arsenal are pale little middle class boys hiding out of the sun that you can boot round the pitch, that's gone. And I think that's one of the reasons why Socrates was bought. He's aggressive. He doesn't mind picking up Harry Kane and body slamming you into the ground, and he's welcome to do that in every NLD. Spearing is allowed. And I think that's, the defence. I think you just got to have faith in Caicedo, who's a defensive expert on Emery's staff, to turn it round and spending time individually coaching players. But I think fans have got to understand this isn't Arsenal's issues that Arsene created aren't going to get solved in one transfer window, and they aren't going to get solved in a 2-month pre-season. It might take Emery till Christmas or January to get to approaching near what he wants out of the defence and the team. People have got to be patient. There's about 15 years of defensive remedial work that Wenger's done there that's ruined that defence and destroyed those players' confidence. And they've got to be put back together. And that's why he's put people in there who are leaders like Socrates and Liechtensteiner, who can mentor Bellerin and Mavropanos, and also who don't mind going up to someone like Aubameyang, one of the stars, or Ozil, one of the club, and giving them a bollocking and swearing at them.
Matt, what's your thoughts on what these two have said about Chambers, Sockpap, or no? What's he like to be called? He said there's his nickname.
Sir, I would imagine, judging by the size of him.
Yeah, what's your thoughts, Matt?
Well, for me, you can't argue with a lot of it. And a lot of it would just be time, and then we don't have enough time to build our defence and so on. But for me, saying all the names out loud of who we have as centre-back it just doesn't excite me when you say we have Mustafi holding Mavropanos and Socrates. If you told me at the beginning of the window that two would be lining up with the next season, I wouldn't exactly be excited. But look, it's just one of those wait and see things. Let's see how they all perform.
Apparently, it's Papa is what he likes to be called. Cheers came in and Archer. Yeah, PAPPA or Papa. So Chambers, what do you think about him? Or did you just say Chambers?
Look, I think it could be necessary. I just think we don't have enough depth to sacrifice, to be honest. But look, if it's going to help him develop, we might be thankful for that next season when he comes back. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how he goes at Fulham.
Good. Right. And we've got 5 minutes of the show left to do. So what I want to get from Ryan and Matt is that Ryan's gone. He's left there he's back again. Oh dear. What happened, Ryan? You're muted again. I know. I'm telling you something you already know. I'm not going to tell you. Oh, he's going to go again. All right, then. We'll stay with you, Matt. What's your thoughts and expectations for the upcoming season?
Look, I'm optimistic, but I'm optimistic at the beginning of every season. I think we can do. Look, I'm a bit more optimistic when I look at the other teams. I think Spurs not having signed anyone, literally anyone, that's great for us. It's a Mourinho third season, so we'll see how that goes. I think considering those things, we could get fourth. I'm hopeful for that. If we get fourth, I'll be over the moon. But my expectations are fifth. at the moment. But I'm like, I'd still be happy with that, because I think this is the first of kind of a new era, and from here it's just going to get better, I think. But for me, fifth, fourth, if we're lucky, I think.
Okay, Ryan, make the most of you while we still got you. See, Echo's trying to do something. I've told it to mute. Excellent. So, what's your thoughts on the upcoming season one? What do you expect? Matt is thinks we're going to finish fifth, but he's always excited for a new season.
I guess in the abstract, improvement, which I think will just sort of naturally occur with the changing of the coaching staff. I want to see top four. I think that's probably the goal. But honestly, if we finish just outside, but we look more competitive, we look like we're improving, I guess I'll take it. I want to see a deeper run, maybe to the final of Europa League. I think we're good enough to get there. Maybe a healthy run in FA Cup. I don't really care about the League Cup at all. So massive, or not necessarily massive, but steady, tangible improvement on the pitch. And I would really like it back in the top four. I think that's where we belong. Shit clubs like Liverpool and Spurs, they don't really belong up there anyway. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, and I'm really excited about. And I'm crossing my fingers that, top four, but I'll settle for improvement, to be honest.
Okay, right. Before Steve has a turn, there's 128 of you watching, and there's only 27 thumbs up. So go and give that a gentle caress, a massage, oil it up, give it a tickle, and show that thumbs up button that you love it.
Could I do all of those things to the reporter at Wolves? Could we arrange that?
What's his name?
Nigel, I think.
Oh, not sexy Nigel.
She's quite the looker. Anyway, casual sexism aside, I do apologize.
You're spoken for, young man. You need to.
I know, but
nonsense.
I didn't say what I was going to do once I'd greased her up, did I?
Well, we've seen Mrs. Kris, and you're a very lucky man.
Indeed.
Yes. Right. I think now we've got a couple of minutes left to go. Matt and Ryan, do you reckon you could give a quick history of why you become an Arsenal fan in a minute each?
Go ahead, Matt.
In case your family are watching this in 100 years' time, they go, "There's my great grandfather." Go on then, Matt. Why are you an Arsenal fan? How did it happen? You got 1 minute.
Mine's really lame. Mine was back in high school. It was probably I was in year 8 at the high school, and I was thinking about getting into football. And my friend literally turned to me and just said, "Oh, you should go for Arsenal. They're a great club." So I just said yes. And that was 2008. So that's how you know I didn't just join any bandwagons.
Yeah.
That wasn't a good time. But yeah, that's how I got started. Back then, I didn't really watch that many games because I was young. That was 2008. So I kind of progressed from there. Around 2012, started watching games more and more, and then kind of become obsessed with it over time. And I watch as many games as I can around the crazy Australian time zone. But yeah, I love it.
Excellent. Ryan, go on.
It was 1997. Here.
What a year.
Oh, I know. Before then, here in the States, we just had no decent football on TV. You had MLS on ESPN, and then they came out with Fox Sports World, which is now whatever it is, Fox Sports 1 something. I don't even know what it is. Changed so much. But that's when I went off to college to play for my college team. And Arsenal at that time were the most attractive side there was essentially. And so I finally got to watch decent football. And Arsenal was the best thing going. And from then on, obviously the red, the colors, the crest, learned about the history, and it was a match made in heaven, I suppose, even though it's given me a lot of heartache since. So yeah, was finally introduced to decent football, and Arsenal was the best thing going, and everything else about them was great. And so here we are now, getting up at 7 a.m. in the morning to do a podcast and going to go to work in about an hour.
Yeah, good. Yes, so I'm just reading the comments. I've asked them if anyone in the chat box has got a question for Matt or Ryan, and Archie just says, "What do they think of Spurs?"
Shit.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Is there any things you'd like to, Ryan or Matt? Is there any things you'd like to talk about before we go? Because we've it's now past.
For me, not really. I just want to see how excited I am for the season. I think it's going to be. I mean, regardless of how we do, I think this is the first time in a while we have new. Like we have new things, new manager, somewhat of a new team, and I think it's just going to be exciting just to see how it plays out. Even if it's not top 4, even if it is, then no matter what happens, it's going to be fun to watch. So I'm excited for it. I think we are going to do pretty well. But yeah, that's it.
Ryan?
Same thing. I'm really excited to see the new style of play, to see how he's going to fit all the pieces together. Is Aubameyang going to play on the wing or out wide rather? Is Lacazette going to be through the middle? They're going to switch roles in between games. It's going to be more fluid, that sort of thing. That's what I'm really excited about. And that's really about it. It's the season in itself, the new season, the new structure, hope springs eternal, that sort of thing.
I think some people want to know, where did you get that picture of Kris before he does his hair that's behind you on the wall? Someone actually asked that. So cheeky. Kris, Steve, do you want to say anything before we go?
Yeah, I think, as I was saying before, just now, I think fans have got to understand that, this is a massive transition. The club now is going under change in terms of ownership. We might be minus our chief executive very shortly. We've got a new manager and a new team, and they've got to be allowed the time and the grace to organise and do what they can do with the players that they've got in so far. They won't solve it in one window, and they won't solve it in 2 or 3 months. So the fans have got to get behind them. They've also got to be aware of the fact that the media thrive these days on clicks and bollocks. So they'll be trying to stir up as much shit for Unai Emery as soon as possible to get the 12 million Arsenal fans on Twitter clicking their pages. All I'd like to say to all Arsenal fans out there is, don't click on the Daily Mirror's crap. The more clicks they get, the more they get paid. So the best way for us to control them and stop them bullshitting is to not click on their crap. And you just have to put your faith in the team and let them get on with it. And we bought at last players in the areas where we all knew needed addressing. So let's see what can be done with them. And before I disappear,
You're back at 2. You won't be disappearing for long.
No, I know. But we've still only got 47 people liking this show, but we've got 112 watching it. Come on, gentlemen. Give that like button a little tickle with your finger. You know you want to. Clickety click, click, click.
Possibly ladies as well, because we do have a few. We tried to get some females to come on here and voice their opinions, but because of the state of social media and places like this, they will just get roasted. So I think most of them don't want to, unless you leave your name and address, and they can come around and beat you. Kris, any final wonderful piratey words?
One bit of hilarious news and one bit that may not interest people, may not make people happy. Phil Jagielka is the latest name to be linked with Man United. Sorry, that did make me laugh. I was just putting, or I just texted a few people just to find out if there's anything going on. The only thing I have French side is that Arsenal are telling everybody that they're done. So, in terms of ins,
they're done.
Yeah, that's what's coming from my little friend in France. So that doesn't mean that's definite, but
or done out, or both.
As in done in. So we might still get a few out, but it doesn't look like any more business coming in unless something happens.
Well, aren't Besiktas still negotiate with Arsenal over Dave the Bin Man?
Yeah, they have been since 1993, I believe.
They want him on loan, and we want rid. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, and I'm sure Sebastian Frey is waiting in the wings to be signed again this summer. As
moved on Solomon Kalou then.
Oh, the Kalou, yes.
I had him shot 3 years ago.
Yann Villa as well. He's still knocking around.
Right, you two stop talking. You two do this every bloody week. Right, thank you very much, Matt, in sunny, dark Sydney. I don't know how that's an oxymoron for you. Thanks for joining us, Matt.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
It's nice for you to join us. And 15 hours behind in, is it sunny where you are, Ryan? Oh, you're muted again. Fucking thing. Damn. He's getting angry. He's going to go full WWF on his laptop in a minute. Ryan, unplug your headset and plug it back in again and see if we can get that to do something. Oh, is it working? He said,
I know what you said then.
He might well have said fuck. Well, you'll have a chance to redeem yourself again. Maybe if we do one, I don't know if we do one in January. Oh no, he's left. It means he might be coming back. Right, we're just gonna talk about things for a minute and see if we can get Ryan back to say goodbye, because that'd be a nice thing to do.
See, if you hadn't have told me and Kris to shut up, then no one would have noticed. You see?
No.
Yeah, because it'd be midnight and you two would still be bloody talking, waffling on.
Got work to do.
Right, I'll get up the upcoming show at 2 o'clock. It's going to be hosted by Steve. We've got Briggsy, who's an Englishman in Spain, and we've got Stuart, who is in England. Oh, are you back, Ryan?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, quick, say goodbye before it fucks up again.
Goodbye. I'm a moron. Full Davies.
Right, this has been a Bergkamp Wonderland Transfer Deadline Day special, part 1 of 6. Thank you very much for listening. Go and tell all your friends to go and listen on their own devices. All give thumbs up, subscribe. I don't know. Add us on Facebook and on Friend Finder and on Tinder if you can. We're on there somewhere. Thank you very much, and we will see you again in 23 minutes' time. Goodbye.
Bye.